lovely Legionnaires! As a few of you might know, one of my favorite art exercises is to turn inhuman characters human. This has always been a fun exercise, so naturally I'm planning on making quite a few videos like this. This one, however, is to celebrate the release of the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, which means that we'll be drawing everyone's favorite mascot, Fredonimus Fazbearington himself. Unfortunately, I am going to have to give you a little bit of preamble before we get into it, because... oh boy. We're going to start with my criteria for this video in particular. I picked 8 Freddys to draw. No Golden Freddys, no Shadow Freddys, no Molten Freddys, no Ned Bear, no Lefty. The main reasons for this is that they're not really Freddy. Fredbear is their own person, Golden Freddy's their own person, Shadow Freddy is a ghost, Molten Freddy is Ennard. It's all very confusing, so I thought I would just kind of nix anything that was Freddy-shaped, but wasn't Freddy. I might draw them in another video if you guys really like them, but I wanted to stick with Freddy. The other thing I want to address is a content warning. I draw quite a bit of gore in this video, because despite what people would have you believe, this is a horror series. I decided to make Withered, Phantom, and Nightmare Freddy really fucking gross, so you have that. I just wanted to let everyone know that there was going to be gore in this video before we started, and not just splash you with it before the entries. If that kind of stuff bothers you, then I have no problem just seeing you in the next one. But with that preamble out of the way, and if you have a strong enough stomach, let's get into the cute little bears. So I made all of my Freddys black, mainly because he's a big brown bear, and I felt like making him white would lose a lot of his design elements. I also tried to vary up the body shapes with the overall silhouette of the robot. For our original Freddy, I kept him round of belly and friend of shaped. I paid close attention to his original colors, keeping the suit the same color as the costume. I gave him black accents and hair, because those were the only things that we saw in the design that were any other color. I never knew that Freddy's eyes were blue until doing this drawing, actually. Goes to show that even with him yelling in my face, I don't pay a lot of attention. I made his undershirt orange to keep with the same color value. That's about it. I tried to keep to like 60s, 70s costume conventions, since they'd be kind of gimmicky entertainers for kids around that time period. I think he looks like a guy that runs a kids show, don't you? So I'm going to do all 3 of the original versions of Freddy before we move on to permutations, so we're going to Withered Freddy. And he's in bad shape. Almost more zombified. I had to make him look dirty and dilapidated, but I also paid attention to the biggest areas of damage. In the render, his arms are in pretty bad shape, so I went with almost bite marks in them, exposed bone and viscera barely holding his limbs together because you can see whole chunks taken out of the exosuit. There's more shallow mark on the right leg, so I only exposed the muscle tissue underneath, but his whole left knee is gone, with only the endo exposed, so I decided to get rid of all of that meat, just fucking gone. Barely held together with sinew. I also severed the pant leg completely, letting it just barely still be on his leg, made sure to put blood-stained handprints on the shirt and covered his mouth in blood. I also made sure to keep in those little white dots in his eyes as well, just not looking great. Moving on to Phantom Freddy, the real trick with this one was getting the colors to look right. Weird green tint that all the robots have in this game really fucked with the colors that I already set up for Freddy. The withered bits of him remain even after ghostification or whatever, so I had to draw those, but a little greener, a little more rotten. Found out from looking at a bunch of references that Freddy actually loses a leg from Withered to Phantom, but it's the one that was intact, not the one that was already bisected, which... sure, Scott, I sure guess. Design-wise, not much changes from Withered to Phantom. Right leg's totally gone, left leg loses its shoe and pant leg, so... here's your Freddy feet if you want them. I really had to fuck around with the colors, but we got there in the end, so it's fine. I'm really proud of his expression in this one. Pose really helped sell the trapped horror of his existence. Can't wait to draw the other band members. Easily both the most challenging and the most rewarding one to draw. So Phantom Freddy's whole interior mechanisms, gone. Empty. Just fiberglass and endo. So I thought I'd accomplish the same vibe with Nightmare Freddy by making him just head and shoulders attached to fucking spine, shirt torn, exposing that his guts are gone. I thought about piling his guts in his pelvis, but it doesn't really translate well in the same vibe as the meat top being just held up by possibly by the spine. More exposed knees, but the ligaments are torn, meaning he's just kind of dragging his legs around as opposed to walking, which the imagery in my head is bad and gross. Just kind of like I wanted. I also made his arms necrotized. That way that not only would they still be black, but I would picture the sensation of being grabbed by a rotten banana with knives inside. Yeah. Awful, truly. I hate it. Picasso. I'm particularly proud of his fucked up grin, mouth torn open too wide, shreds of meat leaving gums exposed, wide red eyes. Hell yeah. Sufficiently nightmare fuel, I think. Alright, now we're out of the gross zone and into the mascot boys. Wanted to keep the same design conventions of the original Freddy, just perked up and brighter. Went with a brighter orange, shinier shoes, that kind of stuff. A few things I opted to change were to give him freckles, a little rounder face, lighter hair, no facial hair. I did this because I wanted him to look younger, fresher faced, you know? Also made his skin a little lighter than original Freddy because toy Freddy is lighter. Kept his big red cheeks, round blue eyes. Little pal, you know? Little guy. Totally nothing wrong with this funky, fresh little man. I decided to not draw the creepier versions of the toy animatronics. Mainly because it was, for a lot of them, aside from Chica, it wasn't going to be a lot of a change. So I'm kind of just leaving them with these for right now. This one was a little bit of doing. Considering the way that Funtime Freddy jumps color palette, I decided to lighten him up a little more, keep him still black though, give him pastel pink hair, somewhere in the middle between Toy, who I picture as being like 16, 17, and the OG being like 30, so I picture him being somewhere in his mid-20s. Wanted him to have kind of a stand-up comedian vibe, and I'll take any excuse in the world to draw saddle shoes. I love them, I think they're sick. I put his speaker thing on his belt so that his neck area wasn't too cluttered, went with a panel jacket, made him a little slimmer as well. Drawing the little Bonbon puppet was fun, actually. I love his side-eye. I picture his mouth having a Muppet quality to him when he opens it now. I also like the idea that he can make the squished, scrunched up Kermit face. Please deposit 5 coins. Please deposit 5 coins. Please deposit 5. Yeah, okay, I went all out on the shiny bits for him. Silk, metal, whole 9 yards. Wanted to keep their original themes, but to go too 70s rock, we get the glam rocks, and that's a whole other thing. In trying to keep that, I think he turned a little more circus ringmaster than rockstar, but I'm keeping it. You can't stop me. Shut the fuck up. I made him more handsome yet, gave him gold accents, covered him in silk, shiny man. I slimmed him down a little more and kept him on the younger side like Funtime. He's a little more popular with the older siblings than the kids themselves, I think. More for like the older sisters. Alright, you perverts, here you go. I put him in the thumbnail because I knew he'd be the one that you'd give a shit about, you absolute fucking degenerates. My specialty is DILFs, and I know you weirdos would have had some strong thoughts about this one if I didn't make him hot. I referenced off of David Bowie for costume design quite a bit, actually, since his body design's pretty simple. Went with a sparkly bodysuit, shiny shoulder pads, big collar. I just kept the same as the original glam rock shape, really. I made him the darkest of all of them to contrast against all the yellow, since I knew I wanted him to have that long, curly blonde hair. Something that he can really rock with, you know? He got slick eye makeup, no undershirt underneath, so you can see his chest hair, his makeup, and his fat titties. You're welcome, Nezzy. I decided no shirt underneath because I couldn't shake the idea of the bow tie being attached to nothing. It was just funny. I couldn't stop picturing it. He's more for the moms, definitely. I also, you should know, I fought down the urge to give him a proper 80s bulge, but he's a kid's mascot, and that felt obscene. Maybe for the $5 patrons, though. And there we are! 8 of the bestest bear boys. If you really like this video, I'm more than willing to do more with the rest of the cast. I really liked this challenge, especially with translating certain anthropomorphic features into being humanoid, and to translate some robot features into being fleshy. If you want to see which of the Fab 4 is next to be humanized, you can head on over to my Patreon or Ko-Fi, where you can give $10 a month to see the artwork as soon as it's completed to get you an idea of what videos are being produced, and where you can see the videos a day early. If you want to follow me on Twitter or have more of my nonsense 4 times a week, you can join me over on Twitch, and the links to Card and that are also in the description. Thank you and credit as well to our lovely editor Bubbling Brook, who makes all of these videos possible. We wouldn't have content without her, so you should all give her a big thank you. I'll see you in the next one, though. Goodbye!